do you want to be right or do you want to be successful? And this phrase is really hard to grasp. I've been toying with it for 30 years. I know it sounds like a long time, but it's all about fighting our ego and becoming more mentally tough. Because I promise you, the more mentally tough you are, the more success you'll find. So let's get into it. Hi, Brian Stevens, How to Influence, and we're here to help you communicate and connect better. And today I'm going to kind of cover a topic about your own self-awareness and how you communicate internally. It's a little hippie, but let's get ready for the ride. All right. So this phrase, do you want to be right or do you want to be successful? And this is really at times mutually exclusive concepts. You can't be both right and successful all the time. And I know that hurts some people, but this is really all about your ego. Now, your ego wants to hear two things pretty much all the time: that you're pretty and that you're smart. Your ego feeds on that. It feels good. It's great. It may be true. Some of you are pretty. Some of you are smart. Some of you are lucky enough to be both. I kind of am where I am. Sorry, honey. So this ego will force you to want to be comfortable. Your ego wants you to be happy right where you are because it doesn't like to be told that maybe you're not that smart. Maybe you need to work on becoming better and improving. And really, this is what leads to success. Now, when I say success, I don't mean money. Lots of people were born with lots of money. Some people have trust funds. Some people win the lottery. That's not success. That's luck, and that's money. I'm talking about you're starting in one spot in your life, and you've improved greatly throughout time, and you're ending up someplace a lot further away than you started. Maybe you grew up in poverty, and now you're a millionaire. Maybe you grew up with no family. Now you have this great big family. Any way that you want to characterize success is okay with me. The issue, though, is improving as a person. And if you're mentally tough, you can take criticism. You're going to be more self-aware, and this allows you to learn from others and to improve. But you gotta fight that ego off quite a bit. So mental toughness allows you to actually solve problems. Now, in school, in most schools, they don't teach you to problem solve. They teach you rote memorization. Read this paragraph, regurgitate this paragraph. How many facts, how many pieces of data did you memorize? So it teaches you how to memorize things, but it doesn't teach you how to make decisions, how to be decisive, and how to problem solve. And that's a real shame. And a lot of parents aren't doing that nowadays. You hear the helicopter parents, they got to kind of watch everything their children do, or they lawnmower parents, and they got to mow everything down that would get in their way. So what we've learned a lot as a society is not to problem solve, but to be comfortable and told that wherever you are is great and it's perfect. And it is, I get. No, it's not. Like, look, if you want to win and you want to be more successful, you've got to stretch the limits. You've got to breach your comfort zone, and you got to develop mental toughness. So let's talk about the four tips I got for you today on how to develop mental toughness that I've seen be very effective with lots of different people out there. Number one, to start to develop mental toughness, which will, I believe, lead to greater success in your life, is one, your ideas aren't you. And I know that we think that we're being judged. You pitch an idea and the idea gets shot down and it hurts your ego and it doesn't feel good. And that teaches you not to pitch so many ideas, not to try to problem solve. And that's a shame. That's a shame because your ideas aren't you. Your ideas are just ideas. I mean, winners pitch a ton of ideas and a lot of them fail. Maybe even most of them fail. There's a famous quote. I don't know if Thomas Edison actually said it, but I know it's been attributed to him, is that I've not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. And of course, Thomas Edison in that is talking about creating the light bulb. So it wasn't that his first idea he was a failure. His second idea was not a failure. 10,000 more ideas weren't failure. They all had to be done so that he could eventually win at creating the light bulb. And that's the way I want you to start thinking about mental toughness. Your ideas are not you. You're pitching them and then stick and move. And that's going to bring us up to another point. But just remember, it's not a big deal if everyone just doesn't hug and kiss and say that your idea is the best idea since sliced bread. Like, it's not you. And I say this, I'm going to keep reiterating this to you because Most people won't pitch ideas because they're so afraid of being judged that they sit flat. So I've got one more analogy for you, which is a Michael Jordan, and there was a Nike commercial way back, I guess it was in the 80s, where he talked about the fact that he missed over 9,000 shots in his career. But we don't talk about all the shots he missed. We don't talk about that Edison failed 10,000 times. We talk about the win they've got. So just keep reminding yourself to keep digging in and keep pressing forward with new ideas. And when somebody doesn't like that idea, remember, it's not that they don't like you. You can still be pretty and smart and have a lot of bad ideas. Just keep pitching. Number 2, focus on your controllables. And this kind of ties in with the first one a little bit, but resilient people, problem solvers that are mentally tough, focus on the situations they can control, and they don't spend a lot of time on the situations they can't control. And here's the tricky wicket. You can't control other people. Sorry, Mom, it can't be done. What you can do is give them an idea, and if they don't take it, do you dwell on it? Do you freak out? Do you get all upset because they didn't take your idea? Let it go. That's not your controllable. All you can do is focus on how you respond to their actions. If they don't agree with you, no big deal. Stick and move. And so focus on what you can do, not what others can do. And this will start to allow you to develop a little bit more mental toughness. Number three, fake it until you make it. And what I mean by fake it until you make it is fake craving information, fake being self-aware, fake asking for advice and accepting advice all the time. And really that's about you accepting the fact that you're not right all the time, but you'd rather be successful. Now, it's hard to get advice. And if you want to see just how hard it really is to get advice, there's a little game you can play. You can take a piece of paper and you can write 2 circles on it, one circle inside of the other circle. And inside that circle, pass it around to all the people you work with, your family members, whoever, and say, I want you to write down positive words about me in the inner circle. And on the outside of the circle, in that second big circle, write down things that I need to work on. Think about doing that and then reading that piece of paper. That exposes you to what other people think about you. And it is extremely difficult to do. I've done that a few times in my life. I don't want to do it again. It does create a massive amount of self-awareness. And that's what you want if you want to be successful instead of right, is you've got to learn from other people and you've got to learn about yourself too. For instance, I'm a pretty self-aware guy, and the one thing I know is I don't always like who I am and what I'm about all the time. I have a nasty temper. I can be a jerk. I can be way too impatient. I mean, I could go on, and please don't comment about all the other things that I have problems with, but you've got to become self-aware, because if you're self-aware of your failures, you'll go and seek out information. And this is what's really cool about it. If I'm aware that I'm not good with medical stuff, I'm going to go find people that are. But if I act like I'm right all the time, I'm not going to go out there and seek that information. I'm not going to go out there and be successful because I already think I've got all the right answers. And so be aware of what you're not good at and ask for advice. And right now, what I'm going to encourage you to do is just start asking for advice on everything. And when somebody gives you advice, just thank them. Even if you don't agree with it, just get used to accepting advice. There might be some real gems out there. Number four tip for you to start creating mental toughness. I want you to get out of your own head. I want you to stop dwelling on those failures, those 10,000 times that you failed. You gotta put some sort of habit forming mechanism. I know if it's a rubber band on your wrist, every single time you start dwelling on your failures, or you put I like to write on my mirror in my bathroom, the things I want to focus on. Don't focus on the negative, but focus on the wins. Focus on the successes. Don't focus on or be excited that, like, look, this only took me 35 drafts to get to the right answer. 35 is great. It wasn't 10,000. I'm better than Edison right now, right? But if you get in your head and you always dwell on your failures and you fixate on your failures, that's where your energy is going to go. That's what you're going to focus on. There's a old lesson in mountain bike racing. You look on the trail to where you want to go, not what you want to miss. If you look at the trees, you're going to hit a tree. So there's another analogy out there that says, if you think you're going to fail, you probably will figure out a way to do it. I don't want you to dwell on all these failures that you have out there. I want you to be aware of them for sure. In the military, we use what's called an after-action review, and we kind of do something like that here with the company. It's a little bit different model, but where we dig in to each project afterwards, and we walk through what was our mission, what were the results, what were the activities, and what can we do to improve. Once we've done that, we move on to the next one. We try to bake those lessons in for the future, but we don't sit here and just keep beating ourselves up for the bad idea. Be excited about those wins. So I hope that you focusing on some of these tips to create mental toughness will help you become, well, I know it will. It'll help you become more successful because you're going to be gathering more information on how to win. You're going to be learning from other people. You're not going to be all wrapped up in your ego that you've got to be right or you don't feel good. I want you to feel good because you crush it, because you win. That's long-lasting feel good, right? And look, you're pretty and you're smart, but I want you to win more. And so these 4 steps, I think, will help you start to create that mental toughness, take advice more, and realize that it doesn't hurt to try and fail because eventually you're going to get to your win. So I hope this helps. Thanks.